California, but then somebody walked into the room and he just stopped everything, so I,
Oh, I got you. Well, this is good. It is 10 times more organized. You know, you'll be able, yeah, you'll be able to see it, and then it's going to be even transcribed, which is cool. In other words, it'll be reduced to paper in narrative form and all that good stuff, and then put in, archived, correctly, and
Hopefully.
instant, retrieval, for all our families to see it. So it's really, and then it's a lot for other people that can, put together what they'd like to, which is cool. Are we ready to start?
I'm ready to go whenever you are.
Okay. Okay, my name's Claude Vargo, known as Chris, and I was overseas as well with the group here at, the Wyndham Hotel on November
3rd.
the 3rd, 2013. And along with the interview, we'll go over a couple questions that I wrote down. And just state for the record your name and outfit and years of service that you were with Alan.
Well, my name is Alan Frederick VanDeBogart, better known as Bogey. I was in Vietnam in 1967, 1968, 1969. I was with 3rd Tanks, Charlie Company, 3rd Platoon.
Okay. Where were you stationed during the time from the first?
When I first got in the country, I went to Alpha 3, and from there I learned that our rear was Dong Ha. We left Alpha 3, which is up on the DMZ,
Sure.
and went back to Dong Ha to get maintenance done, and we were told we were going to Quezon.
Got you.
So, but we had a few firefights in between the time that we were ready to leave, and then we left for Quezon. I was mostly at Quezon.
Okay.
We opened up the road and the evacuation and all that.
I got you. Okay. I was at Quezon, so I can during the
I
siege,
know.
so I can understand the connection there very well. In fact, I was in boot camp with several of the guys. I guess it were J.C. Cox was one, and I forget some of the others. So, tell me again, what month did you land there in Vietnam?
It was October of 1967.
Okay, so were you in any of the Cantien skirmishes or battles?
No.
No, okay. There was plenty of action, like you said, all over, ambushes and that type of thing. What was the most interesting incident that you went through that you'd like to discuss? Would have had to be the ambush outside
Foxtrot,
the camp.
probably. Foxtrot Hill.
Foxtrot?
I'm not sure what the name of the hill was. I have to be careful because I'm very emotional on this.
Sure. Yeah, if I touch any buttons. Just
Well,
let me know.
that's the most memorable.
Okay. Do you want to tell us about that?
I'm trying.
Okay.
The company got overrun. We come in with 2 tanks, and I was at Quezon, outside of Quezon,
Okay.
outside of LZ Hawk.
Yeah,
Okay, and we come in, and he had overrun this hill. That was, I'm not sure what the name of the hill was. Some of the other guys that I listed remember, but I don't remember the name of the hill. In any case, we had infantry with us, and we couldn't bring the tanks down in because of the elephant grass. We found that the infantry that was with us, their commanders, most of the leaders, had been shot or killed, wounded or killed.
Do you remember who the leader?
But I was in Lieutenant Ralston's tank. I was the gunner. In any case, we couldn't do too much. Myself, Lieutenant Ralston, and Donnie Bell, we jumped off the tank and went into the elephant grass to retrieve wounded, administer first aid, and we got them onto the tanks, and took them back into Quezon to try to get them medevaced or to the hospital there. But that was the worst.
How long did the ambush last?
I would say all day. It was a long drawn out thing. I mean, we did do some firing when we thought we had most of the wounded out and the dead. We called it an airstrike, and they dropped napalm. I said it was almost all day. We went back the next day. I did, anyways. I volunteered. Went back and picked up some guys that we didn't know were in there. They were all burnt up from the napalm and brought
Were
the
they
bodies
tankers
back.
or were they infantry?
Infantry.
Infantry.
No, none of our guys got hurt that day.
Okay.
The other, I mean, there's another incident. It was afterwards when I got wounded.
Okay.
Yeah, that could have been before or after. I'm not
I
sure.
see.
I can't
Okay.
remember anymore. When they hit the tank that went over the cliff,
All
I'm
right.
sure you heard about it at
Sure.
Quezon, and
Yeah.
James got killed, the driver.
James who?
James James. Jymes, the last name was James.
Right.
James. And I was on Bridge 35, and they hit us with a rocket attack and mortars, and I happened to be on the back of the tank when they hit us, so I got wounded. I was supposed to be driving that tank that went over the cliff, but something happened, and I forget what it was, and I didn't go. So it wasn't my time, because they dropped a satchel charge into the driver's compartment. Gary Hall was the tank commander, and it went over the cliff, and the tank burned up. But the 3 crewmen got out. Gary Hall, and I don't know who else was in there. But I do remember there is a person here that was on the back of the tank, a grunt, Gil Hernandez.
Okay.
He's here. I don't know why. You guys ought to try and interview him. He was I got his card. He's a past department commander of the VFW
Okay.
of Arizona, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but anyways,
Well,
yeah.
That's pretty cool. You don't remember what date that was? It was.
I've lost my memory of most of the names. If it wasn't for this organization, I wouldn't. I see Bob Baxter's put me in touch with a lot of the guys, you know.
Okay. Yeah, we started.
I can't remember names.
We started the same in Bravo Company. I couldn't. I remembered one, and because of the organization.
Dates and everything. Most of these guys are helping me. I can't remember nothing.
Right. Well, you try to put it out of your mind.
Yeah.
Have you, as a sidebar, have you sought help with the veterans?
Oh yeah. Oh
okay.
yeah. I still go to the veterans every 2 weeks. I see it.
So that's good. So do I. Where do you go?
Albany, VA, New York.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you go to group or is it individual?
I won't go to group. I can't handle it.
I'm smiling because
They try to get me to go to group. I can't do it. I just, these guys, I start breaking up.
Right. And a lot of them weren't in as much action as they say they are.
Oh yeah.
Working real late.
Well, in group, yeah. Well, I've heard many different stories, even on some of these things that have happened over there, and that I've been a part of, and I know the stories are changing.
Right.
But I don't say that. You can believe what they want to believe.
Right. Right. So you picked up at least one Purple Heart.
One is enough.
One's enough. Did you do an extension?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And so you left probably in the summer '69.
Yes. June of '69.
June '69.
I went to Quantico, Virginia.
Oh, okay. And you were at where when you left?
I was in Quang Tri. I was the last senior person there, and I was in charge of cleaning up the whole company's tanks, getting them ready to ship them out.
Okay. And what rank were you when you left?
Corporal.
I see. Okay. Did you pick up sergeant going stateside?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Good.
I only did 3 years 3 years in the Marine Corps, and I made sergeant. I thought that was pretty good. And I got busted once in Vietnam, only for 2 months.
Would you like to tell us about that real quick?
Well, a friend of mine got killed that I went in a buddy system with. We extended together. We went home, come back, and we were going to extend again for another tour.
What was his name?
Richard Rocco.
Okay.
He was in searchlights on the mules,
Sure.
and they had the 120 millimeters on them, and searchlights, and he got hit, direct hit by a rocket. He was sitting on the searchlight. I happened to be at R&R at the time, and I come back, and I heard something. He was in Dong Ha, and I was in Quang Tri, so I went down. So I come back, and I want to go home for the funeral, and they wouldn't let me. So I kind of flipped out. I had 45 days leave coming and everything, but they wouldn't let me do it. And so I kind of flipped out, so they busted me down to a Lance Corporal. 2 months later, I got it back because I was there longer than most of them.
Right. So we have very similar backgrounds. We got there and left about the same time. So
Well, they didn't think I would come back, but I would have come back because I wanted revenge, and I did try to do something, but I stopped
Payback.
myself. Yeah,
Payback.
payback, yes.
Yeah,
But
feel
I didn't do it. I stopped myself.
I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Well, it was good that good that you did. Have you thought about going back?
Yeah, I got the paperwork. I would like to go back.
So you're going to go with the group in September?
The one that they brought up, I don't know yet. I say I want to, but my wife, she's not with me, and she's getting Alzheimer's disease, and it's
Touch and go.
touch and go. I got my son with her now, and I just can't be away from her too long.
I see. Yeah.
So it depends on what happens.
Right.
I've got the paperwork. I really would like to go back.
Well, then I hope to go back with you because my wife is here and we decided that I'm going to go back.
Well, Gary Hall's thinking about it too,
Okay. That's
which is
good.
nice because at least I know some of the people.
Right. Well, we're all brothers. And
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's extra.
It helps when you know somebody.
Extra, sure, it's extra personal if you went through the same firefight.
Yeah, but the same
you
thing.
know,
And they're going up to
that type of thing.
Quezon and all that. I'm just kind of curious what it looks like now.
Well, I'm curious to see if my cave is still there. I chiseled the cave.
Oh, really?
Lived in it for 5 months, and
Well, I can't.
I think odds are maybe a granite cave is still there.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
I was out at the rock quarry.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So that's neat that you would go back.
There's a lot of different places. I was in Contian. Now that you mention that.
Okay. All right.
Just
Well, you had to
thinking,
be
we had
a-
our tanks there because we stayed there for a couple of weeks, and then we continued on up the road. That's right.
And that probably in the summer of '68.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Because we left Alpha 3, had to be around January. Came back to Dong Ha
Mhm.
before we went up. But we had a big firefight just over on the other side of Dong Ha, which I got credited for 94 kills, which was pretty good. Out of 3 tanks, we killed over 300 NVA.
Okay, that
And I can't remember what the name of that was either.
was that died out? No.
I don't
Was
know.
Andy Anderson on one of your tanks, driver? No,
Not that I remember.
I see. Okay.
Not that name, don't
Okay.
come to bell.
Okay. Just
Corporal
talk-
Larson was on one tank. I
Okay.
had a different guy I was with, a gunny sergeant. I don't remember his name. But I heard his name yesterday, but I forgot it already.
I see. Okay. Well, maybe you're trying to put out things.
It's
still.
just, well, the VA they said that's part of my PTSD.
I see. You're on medication?
I won't take it.
Oh, I see.
I don't take them antidepressants.
I got you.
2 of my friends are on them, and they're
Goofy.
not right.
Yeah.
They're not right.
Yeah. I can understand that. Well,
It's true.
If you're getting the one-on-one
Yeah,
help that you need, what percentage are you?
100% now.
100%?
I got it just before I went to San Diego.
Oh, okay. So 2 years. So you're.
I never fought for it. When I got out, I got 10% because of my wounds, and then I had a problem about, I don't know, let's see, maybe 10 years, 15 years later, tried to commit suicide.
Hmm. And so 15 years later, yeah, I can relate. I had an incident 5 years out. 5 years out at the fall of Vietnam. So
Anyways, then somebody got me in touch with the VA hospital, and,
put you in the system. Well, that's good. That's good to have you, rated that you're in the system and,
well, I went up to 60%, but like I said, 2 years ago, a gentleman, a service officer, come to me and he asked me how come I wasn't fighting to get a disability. And I said, I get a disability. He said, no, you should get 100%. And he sent the paperwork in, and within, I don't know, 2 years I got it.
Was that INU, individual unemployability, or just
Yes.
100%? Yeah, that's what it was.
I get 60% for PTSD, and the rest is 10% for Agent R's, 10%
Right.
for woundeds, and I don't know,
How about tinnitus? How about your ears?
tinnitus.
Yeah.
10%
If
for
you're in
that.
tanks.
Yeah, I get a lot of ringing. Wakes me up at night too, but and there is a hearing aid for that, believe it or not. They've told me about it, but I said
The hearing aid, what, at night?
something to do to take the ringing out of your ears at night.
I see.
'Cause sometimes it wakes me right up.
Do you wear a CPAP machine?
A who?
CPAP? No, obviously
guess not.
I wear a. It's like a catcher's mask with a vacuum hose on it. So
Oh, really?
I stop breathing at night.
Well, I have a piece of shrapnel in my nose, right below my eye, still there, and I can't sleep on my left side because I can't breathe. It
I see.
plugs right up. If I turn over to my right side,
I-
it clears right up.
I see.
It's weird, but they won't take the shrapnel out. It's too close to the eye, they
I
said.
see. Okay.
Still there.
I see.
I have one piece of remembrance.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So when they bury you, it's going to be on one side. huh?
Still going to be there.
That's good.
It's funny, you know. I didn't know about it until I had some dental work done. They did X-rays, and I'm looking at theirs. I said, "What the heck?" And then I remembered that night when I got hit, the blood was shooting out like this, plus all over me, which I didn't notice until I got in the tank. And what made it worse was the night I got wounded. I got in the tank and they had the red light on, and everybody's just staring at me. What's the matter? I didn't feel it. I had shrapnel on my head, shoulders, hands.
We have very similar background.
Weird.
Yeah, when somebody told me I got hit, I freaked out, and we were yelling medic.
Yeah.
If you know medic,
That's what
is
they were
not-
yelling, medic.
Medic is not in the Marine Corps, corpsman.
Or corpsman, whatever. I can't remember what they called it.
So they were started laughing.
Yeah.
So I got half my head blown off.
Yeah.
And you're yelling meta and you're laughing, but it was.
I just, like I said, I had to wait for him to stop with the incoming quick, and I think it was Corporal Larson. Get in the tank, you clown, or something like that. So I
Right.
jumped in the tank, and that's
So-
when everybody.
So let's see. As a high in country corporal, you were a tank commander.
Yes,
At one, for
Charlie
private-
3-4.
Charlie 3-4.
I painted Wonder Warthog on the tank.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember ever seeing it.
I don't know that I did. I was on Bravo 3-4.
Believe it or not, I haven't found anybody with any pictures of it.
Really?
I don't even have any of myself. I lost a lot of my pictures.
Say the name of the
Wonder Warthog.
Wonder Warthog.
You know, because I always thought the gun barrel looked like a warthog's nose.
I got it. Well, it
And
does.
if you ever ran into a warthog, they're a very dangerous animal.
Oh, sure. Sure. Well, if I ever run into any pictures, have you looked at all the pictures on all the tables?
Yeah. I keep
Some of them
looking,
are
I
pretty
watch, I
interesting.
keep looking, but I ain't found any yet with the,
Right. I took 264 pictures and slides,
Mhm.
but it took me years to get them back because I sent them to my sister, my mother, my
Oh,
wife,
yeah.
who's here, and my mother, and everybody had,
I had boxes of pictures. I took a lot of pictures. I went to Canada for a trip, and I was living in this little apartment, and they had a flood on the upstairs, and I had all the pictures in a box.
Mhm.
And they didn't get into my apartment, and all the water had gotten into the box,
Oh.
and all the pictures were stuck together, and I lost. The only thing I had saved was the slides,
Okay.
and I
yeah.
had them made into pictures, and I forgot to bring them.
I got you. Well, perhaps. We've had several reunions. How many have you been on?
I went to Philadelphia, was the first one,
Okay,
and then I went to San Diego.
okay. Now, where are you from again?
I'm from Amsterdam, New York.
I see, okay. All right. So that would make sense why I went to Philadelphia.
Well, I drove to it. It was my first one.
I see.
And
yeah.
Baxter's the one that got in touch with me, Bob Baxter. And,
Yeah. Said you gotta go.
and I would have never known if I didn't get a computer. You know, I never had a computer. I got a computer, and they found me on the computer. So
That's pretty cool.
That's how I found out about the
That's
VTA.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You gonna go to the next one?
Absolutely, if I
Yeah.
can. You know, you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll drive. I go to Washington, D.C. almost every May. I haven't missed it in quite a while. Every Memorial Day, I'm in Washington. I go with an organization called the 40 and 8, which I was the state commander of New York for in 2010.
It's what?
We
Say
go
it
to
again. It's the
The
40.
40 and 8. So La Société, it's a French organization, originated in World War I,
Okay.
and it's where they were taking either 40 men or 8 horses were put into a boxcar and brought to the front lines.
Okay.
And that's where the organization is. We do nurses training, we sponsor nurses and all kinds of child welfare programs, and stuff, like most organizations.
Great.
It used
Nice.
to be part of the American Legion, but
Okay.
it's not anymore.
I see. Okay.
We've separated, so,
Well, that's good. I learned something. 40 and 8.
yeah.
Okay. I have to look that one up.
Oh, yeah, we're in there. Just go to 40and8.org, and it
Nice.
just pops up.
Okay. What about your decorations?
I got a Purple Heart, naturally, and a Navy Commendation Medal for where we pulled them bodies out, or wounded that day.
Okay. All right. Well, justly so.
A lot of things that we did, our lieutenant never put anybody in for anything.
Well, that's
I don't want to pick on him. I keep looking to see if he's listening. He is here, but he put himself in for a lot of different medals.
is that
Ralston.
Ralston?
Yeah.
Yeah, big guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty big.
Is it
Now
left-
he's bigger than he ever was.
Yeah, left as a captain.
I heard he got made
Yeah.
captain, yeah.
Yeah. And what have you done civilian-wise? What kind of work did you do?
I went to work for General Electric in Schenectady, New York. Got
Okay.
laid off 6 times.
Okay.
Then I started my own plumbing and electrical business.
All right.
And did work the G. Then I ended up, because I was a plumber and steam fitter, went to an apprentice course for that. I wanted to use that GI Bill, you know.
Sure.
So I wanted to be an electrician, couldn't get it in the GE, so I got to be a plumber. Which
Okay.
so I learned, and then I went to work for this guy, and I put 13 bathrooms in his building. And he wanted me to do electrical work for him. I said, I'm not an electrician. He taught me. He was an electrician. He taught me everything. So I had 2 trades.
I
So I
see.
started my own business.
Okay.
But it was like a sideline. I worked GE at night, and then during the day I
Yeah.
do my business.
Do a little shade tree.
And you can never retire when you're a cheap plumber, because I do everything for veterans and almost for nothing.
I got you. Well, that's the way I help veterans get their educations.
You know, I had a lot of guys, helped a lot of people get disability
Okay.
from the VA. That's why I never thought about myself. I worked on them, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when people say, "How come you don't go for this?" I said, "What do I need it for?"
Right. Do you do any work now?
A little bit. People still call me, mostly Vietnam veterans,
Really?
friends of mine.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well, no, that's good. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Can't think of it. That's why it's good if somebody asks me, because I'll go out of here and probably tomorrow, so I should have said that.
Obviously. I'll go out here tomorrow, and I said I should have asked.
You know, I was deferred from the service too. I didn't have to come in. I enlisted. I was 4F.
Really?
I was working for the government when I graduated from high school making bullet boxes. I was a machinist then.
Okay.
I've done everything.
All right.
Yeah, just
No, that's
it's
not,
funny.
no, I think you supplied lots of information, a lot more than.
It's a lot more firefights, but I can't remember the areas. That's what bothers me.
Right. Well, we worked everything from.
If I had a map
on-
and I could see exactly, I think I could figure it out, you know, but
Right. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't need to.
yeah. The first time when we came back to Dong Ha is when I got my first kill, more or less to say. One night they had action out on the river, and I went up. The gunny took me up in the tank. It was a different gunny. And we went up there, and there was a movement on the other side of the river. We fired a couple of canister rounds, and you come back and say, "Oh, you got 3 kills. 2 gooks and an Arvin." I said, "An Arvin?" She said, "Hey, we stand in front of the tank when you pulled the trigger. The back blast killed him."
Right.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Well,
That was my first. He said, "How do you feel?" I said, "Okay, I didn't even see him."
to be, yeah.
And after that, it just got worse and worse. So
Right.
I saw a lot of action.
Were you on Operation? Do you remember any of the Operation?
Scotland.
Scotland.
Scotland,
Pegasus.
Pegasus. Yeah.
Scotland 1, Scotland 2, Pegasus.
I probably got some ribbons that I should have got, but they're not in my DD-214. Also, when I went over, I was in the 1st Marine Division. That's not on my records. And then they
Okay.
transferred me when I got to Nam. They transferred me to the 3rd Marine Division.
Right. Well, I was in a,
I have no clue, but I've looked at my DD 214. There's nothing on there about 1st Marine.
well, there's a lot. The Marines did not keep
Very good records.
Very good records. Not like the Army.
Yeah.
The Army would record you before, during, and after the action.
When I first got there, believe it or not, I was on a ship, and I can't remember the name, but I think it was the Okinawa. But we had all the tanks in the gut, and we used to go out during the day, make landings, and come back.
Right.
Did that for about 2 weeks, I believe, before they actually flew me into Alpha 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you went to first,
We did landing parties, and we lost the tank, too.
go off
Drove
the
off
side,
off the
off
boat.
the ramp. Tilt.
They miscalculated the depth of the water.
Okay.
That tank should still be there. I don't see how you're going to get us
52 tons.
52 tons out. I don't know. I can't
Right.
remember where it was, but somewhere on a beach.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Not that I'm trying to put any more in there. But,
Is there any, before we wrap up, is there any other humorous
oh, yeah, a
stories?
lot. Yeah, a lot.
Huh?
A lot of different things, you know. I can remember one time I was taking my tank up through Quang Tree. I took a gum wrapper and made a lieutenant bar. I said, "Watch this." We were driving up, and all these guys are out there saluting me. It was pretty funny. If I got caught, boy, I would have been in trouble.
I like that. I don't know. A tank,
Guys,
tank commander going into ambush, I don't know, or a convoy.
Did a lot of crazy things, you know, and when I ran the rat patrol between Quang Tree and Dong Ha, we did that just before I left. And the MPs come out one night, we're on Dong Ha, we just come from Quang Tree, we're at the beach area, and the MPs come out, and they had just finished shooting one of our guys, which I was a little upset about, so they come out and they said, we're gonna search your tank, we understand there's alcohol and drugs on it. I grabbed the grease gun, I said, first one that steps up here is a dead Marine. They got back in their Jeeps and left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were running, how many
You
convoys?
can ask Vax about that.
Uh,
Vax remembers that. He's the one who reminded me. I said, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
well, good. We're glad we got that from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, I was in charge. And the other tank, they always had an officer or a gunny or a high-ranking officer, but I was still in charge because I was there the longest.
Right.
Kind of weird.
That was the same for us.
Got one more incident for you.
Okay.
Got time.
Yeah.
Just before I left, I had 18 days, and they were looking for someone to take a tank and do a recon insert. And I volunteered, and they said, nah, you're too short. We don't want you to go out. I says, I don't care. So they gave me a cook for a loader, and a staff sergeant wanted to drive, so I let him drive, and we hit a landmine. Blew the track off the tank.
Where was that?
Just outside of Quang Tree.
Okay. All right.
That was 18 days, you know, and
A cook is a loader.
he didn't even know what to do.
Yeah,
It was we didn't expect any problems, is what it was. We were
Right.
going down a main road, but
Yeah.
we ran over a landmine.
Yeah, you just don't take.
Well, it wasn't a mine, it was a shell, you know,
Yeah. Okay.
rigged up, but it just
Tell
blew
him
the
take,
track.
take some of those potatoes and put it in
He
the
did.
breach here.
He did. He volunteered. He wanted to see action, you know.
Okay, you saw
Well,
that.
we were just going out for a ride, and he was sitting on top. Matter of fact, he
Well-
tried to jump off the tank, and I had to grab him and throw him inside the turret. And then I traversed, you know, checked the area out and everything. Then we got out. The recons decided to go on. We couldn't go anywhere, so I had to get the track back
Right.
together myself because the other two guys didn't know nothing about tanks. I didn't have a gunner. It was supposed to be just an easy insert.
What happened to the insert? Well, you never made it.
No, they took off. They walked.
I see.
And nobody got hurt, but I got the track back together basically enough so we can limp back in.
Maybe throw the cook some sea rat toilet paper.
I
Clean
remember
himself up.
it was funny. Yeah.
Boom! Here's your water. Now you
It was,
got your.
it was just, think about that, because we thought it was almost over, believe it or
Yeah.
not. That was in '69, you know,
Yeah.
you thought everything was done.
Right.
We won. Yeah.
So he got his combat action ribbon and went back to cooking.
I guess.
So, but I never met him.
I keep saying he was a young kid, but I was only 20 years old myself.
Right. Okay, I think we'll wrap it up. I think that was excellent. You came up with some really, really good stuff.
If I could remember, there's a lot of stuff.
Thank you for your service.
Okay, Chris, thank you.
Okay. All right, did you sign that, Alan?